early in my struggles, about 10 years ago, I often watched Jocko Wllink on his video, what's it titled? Good. I figured that had the same mindset I did, where it doesn't matter what anything happens, everything is for a good reason. Even if it appears to be bad, there's something good will come of it. And so, but it was good to watch and listen to on a regular basis. It was reassuring that I wasn't the only one that had this mindset. And something else I don't know, that the mindset of like taking everything with a positive note is something I like to think I practiced. And it was good to listen to Jocko, though something I think different that I learned from somebody else was about, I don't remember exactly how it goes, and I don't remember who it was, but it was, the line was, to tell yourself is, do it now. And Jocko talks about the same thing worded differently. He says to just walk, just start. And I think I'm glad I learned that. And I think I did do that, though I would word it differently. And this is something I learned during business school. 2010, I spoke and met with a ghostwriter to help me write my book, to help me meet a publisher. And it wasn't to do with my business or the business program I was in. That was just by chance, conveniently during the same time as I was in this business program. And this ghostwriter gave me a book. He helped the author. And the book is titled, now I forget what the book is titled. It's by a Canadian football and wrestling athlete. I think it's called Getting Comfortable Being Uncomfortable. And that speaks to getting out of your rut. And I often did that, especially, I don't know if I did that before, but I certainly, I would say that book, or the title, and some of the different things in that book, just a small pocket book, an easy read. Even I could read it. So that book helped me the last 10 years, and it's a different way to view do it now, or like Jocko Wllink says, is just to go for a walk. Just walk. Just start. Tonight I did that. I really wanted to just veg. I really just wanted to relax, have the time off. I'm really exhausted. I've been at this 10 years, and I'm still trying to find somebody to help me recover with mental health, and I still can't get the help I need. So I was messaging a friend, just trying to do something different, trying to find an answer, and messaging the friend helped me think of another friend that's a different friend that's better suited to help me write letters. So I went to her, and on my way into town, on my drive into Athabasca, I thought of other people that could also help me, and then I kind of met a roadblock. So I called a friend, and he helped me think of a group that I've often used, though it's also hard to ask help from this group because it's acts of kindness. I've been injured by acts of kindness. Few people seem to understand that being treated nicely can hurt. I wanted to touch on too is something I've been thinking about a lot lately is how what Chris Voss talks about is, and there's lots of science by experts who've discovered that pictures of objects can make people dumber or smarter. Pictures of people struggling can make us dumber. Different pictures can make us smarter. Different words can make us smarter or dumber or smarter. And so the other day, leaving Edmonton, I'd quit my job. But only after I quit my job and I was outside the city, did the stress leave me. And then I thought of the answer of why there was a mechanical part failure. Only after I quit the job, only after I was relieved of that stress, did I think of the solution to the mechanical failure of that big rig I was driving. So now tonight when I was talking to messaging a friend who helps me with my injuries to cooking. I knew she couldn't help me with letter writing. I felt she couldn't, just because life is complicated. And but instead I just messaged her, just trying to find solutions and just to bounce ideas off of. And that's exactly like that's when I started realizing different potentials, and then I realized what that is a lot like just having that conversation with somebody in my corner. Motivated me, encouraged me. I felt like I had somebody on my team, and that made me smarter. Like, majority of people might understand the home team advantage, and that's because players at home have a better chance of getting a better score, better result. And that's because they're at home, they're relaxed, there's less stress. And similarly, most people understand that most of us forget our grocery list until we get home. Once we relax at home, all of a sudden we remember our grocery list. And we usually don't understand the science to explain it. We just know it's a phenomenon that happens. And the science is that at home, in a relaxed state, in a comfortable environment, all the good neurochemicals flood the brain, makes us smarter. There's different ways we can fake that. Two things I'll mention are taking deep, slow breaths. And the other thing that we can do to make us smarter is we can laugh at ourselves. I've laughed at myself on purpose when I've forgotten something, specifically to remember what I'd forgotten. And every time I've practiced this, every time I've thought of practicing this, I would make myself smarter. I would remember what it is I'd forgotten. So my messaging conversation with a friend made me feel like she was on my team, in my corner. Though she helps me with my cooking, relearning to cook, having her in my corner helped me relax, helped me think, and think of other solutions, other people that could help me. And instead of waiting, I did exactly what I learned in business school. not in business school, but during business school, reading that book. Now, I still can't remember the author's name. If somebody watching wants to Google search and comment below the author of the book, Getting Comfortable Being Uncomfortable. Now, I want to say it's Molle. Not sure if it's, I want to say Bob Molle, maybe Robert Molle, but I want to say it's Bob Molle. That really, getting out of my rut. I think, now that I say that, I think that's something I learned in the military. Though the next level of getting comfortable being uncomfortable, I really embodied that during business, not just during business class program school, but in business. And then 15 years ago and then 10 years ago, I really kept that in mind while I was watching Jocko Wllnk's Good, which I also embodied and learned in the military, though 10 years ago when my mental health really tanked, and that was a next level, a higher level of practicing getting uncomfortable. Taking every blow, good or bad, for the good that it might present in the future. And Jocko Wllnk's, well, after that, it was a few years after that I watched a video on Do It Now, which is similar to Jocko Wllnk's. Walk. And so if there's anything I can leave you with, it's maybe the benefit of getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Getting out of our rut, to do the hard thing, to go for that walk, even if it doesn't feel good now, for the good that it'll bring in the future. So, on that note, I think, how can I end this on a good note? Chris Voss talks about the 4 labels. Smells like that everything we say should either be a label followed by silence, or an upward or downward mirror followed by silence, mirroring the 1 to 3 words. And so I wanna add a 5th label. The first 4 are sounds like, looks like, seems like, feels like. And I want to add smells like, when specifically in a context where comedy is important or appropriate. Because comedy is important, though I haven't practiced using smells like. And I got that line from Cheech and Chong. And so Cheech and Chong smells like would be a good label to use with a comedy twist. I'm not sure how to use that yet, but I'm gonna work on that, because comedy is a super weapon. In communication. So I'm going to work on trying to figure out where, how, when I can use the label smells like. Add it to the toolbox. Have a good night.